Well, this is a review that was difficult to write, and I had a lot of hesitation on whether I was going to make a video review of this book. I'll tell you why in a moment, but at the very least, I'll tell you what the name of the book is and so forth, and what I rated, and the description, and then I will give you more information. This is When the Lights Go Out by Mary Kubica. This was a Harlequin Hanover Press release. I got it a while ago, but I only read it recently. It was released September 4th, and unfortunately, I was only able to give it 3.5 stars. Here is the description. A woman is forced to question her own identity in this riveting and emotionally charged thriller by the blockbuster best-selling author of The Good Girl, Mary Kubica. Jessie Sloan is on the path to rebuilding her life years after caring for her ailing mother. She rents a new apartment and applies for college, but when the college informs her that her social security number has raised a red flag, Jessie discovers a shocking detail that causes her to doubt everything she's ever known. Finding herself suddenly at the center of a bizarre mystery, Jessie tumbles down a rabbit hole, which is exacerbated by grief and a relentless lack of sleep. As days pass and insomnia worsens, it plays with Jessie's mind. Her judgment is blurred, her thoughts are hampered by fatigue. Jessie begins to see things that she can no longer tell the difference between what's real and what she's only imagined. Meanwhile, 20 years earlier and 250 miles away, another woman's split-second decision may hold the key to Jessie's secret past. Has Jessie's whole life been a lie, or have her delusions got the best of her? All right, that's the description. Now, before I give you my review, I'll say this. I put this book down at least 3 times. What's worse is it took me 3 days to read this book. I didn't read anything else during those 3 days. And the reason why is I was just so, disenchanted, I guess, with this book. But I decided to stay with it, and I creeped through, and I did finish it, and I did give it 3.5 stars. So let me give you most of my review, and then tell you what happened to give it the rating it got. As the description stated, she's sitting with her mother. Her mother is dying. She has a serious illness and only a little bit of time left. So Jessie becomes completely debilitated. She's not sleeping. She begins hearing things. She thinks she's seeing things, even imagining things. Meanwhile, she says, well, my mom would want me to go to college. So she goes to apply for college, but she has no social security number. Then, what's worse is she discovers she doesn't even have any identification or birth certificate. So then, as Jessie is discovering this, the story shifts to another woman. Her name is Eden, and her story is told 20 years earlier. Now, Eden is described as a happy young wife where her and her husband have moved into a new home, and now they decide that they want to start a family. This is a pivotal part of the story. It really is. It was it was very different than Jessie's story, so this is kind of where the pages got turned very slow, because I was really trying to connect to Eden, her story, her desire to have her baby, the neighbor that she spent time with, and all of those things that happened there. But then it jumps back to Jessie's story. We get a chapter or 2 of Jessie, we go back to Eden's story. Now, it took a while. Actually, I wrote down, it was about 100 pages when it finally started to come together. And the book, it's 384 pages. So it took a bit to really, really be able to grab a hold of the story. And as I mentioned, it took several days to read the book. However, I finally reached an aha moment, thankfully, because that aha moment gave me the impetus to continue. Now I became eager to see why Jessie had such an uncertain past. Why didn't she have ID? Why didn't she have a birth certificate, and so forth? Then, of course, as trying to develop a connection with her as a character, I wanted her story to come together. And I also wanted to see what the connection was with Eden and with Jesse, because Eden wasn't her mother's name, so what in the world is going on? Now, this is a book where I've heard this term, and I may have used it once or twice in reviews. It's called an unreliable character. Jesse is an unreliable character, and this is because of the mental state that she was in during the story and as her dialogue progressed. I think I'll just say this. If the author was doing her job correctly, she made me dislike the character Eden. I didn't like her at all. I didn't like her thoughts. I didn't like her actions. I didn't like her at all. And that may have been intentional on the part of the author. Now, here is when I had to decide on a rating. And it was because of the ending. And I know I've said this in another review at least one time. I had to reread several chapters once. As a matter of fact, I grabbed the book from Scribd and I re-listened to the last few chapters even again, because I'm trying to tie everything together. Well, I was kind of left scratching my head. Yeah, I got the answers I was looking for, but they were kind of given to us in a very jumbled manner. It was just done a little bit oddly. So that's it. I will give her another look in another book, whatever she has coming up in the future, because according to the blurb, her other book, what was it? The Good Girl was a bestseller, so maybe this was a little bit of a miss. But that's it. It's a long review. Sorry about that. The link for the book will be in the description below, as well as the link for the written review. All right, thank you.